Hello, kia ora, namaste, maluelele, bulavanaka, talofalava, and welcome to the 2022 New Zealand Heritage Hockey Tournament, coming to you live from the beautiful Kolmar Sports Centre in Papatoetoe, Auckland. I am Brad Pittman and we'll be bringing you all the action here from Pivotal Day 3 here Easter Sunday in New Zealand. Day 3 is moving day here at tournament, where all the teams will be jostling for spots in tomorrow afternoon's medal matches. The men's games yesterday have both added excitement to today's games, with the New Zealand Maoris winning a penalty shootout against the New Zealand Indians and the Pacifica men beating the Heritage Barbarians in regulation time. All teams still have the opportunity to make tomorrow's gold medal match, so this game will have a lot riding on it. It's the first men's game of Day 3 today between the New Zealand Maoris and Heritage Barbarians. The Maoris put on a strong performance yesterday, but they face a Barbarians side that have grown in confidence and have counter-attack options right across the park. With both teams still in finals contention, expect an extremely competitive match here with plenty of fire. Pride on the line for both teams, and neither will want to go home empty-handed for points from today's match. And the key matchup I'm looking forward to is the battle of the goalkeepers, with Ruan Bezadenhout in goal for the Heritage Barbarians and Harley Kupa in goal for the New Zealand Maoris. I'm joined in commentary today by Tama Jones from Hockey New Zealand, a long-time player and supporter of hockey here in New Zealand. Tama, this is both must-win and must-watch hockey here today between the Maoris and the Barbarians. What are you looking forward to from a viewing point?
Yeah, Brett, kia ora everyone, and talofa to everyone listening out there. Well, as you mentioned, Brett, it's Day 3, so just watching the warm-up here, everyone's looking a little bit sharper, hitting the ball a little bit crisper and harder, so I just really want to see that sort of attacking, clinical execution and that attacking 25. Yeah, it'll be really good to see, I think, just a bit of progression as we see throughout the tournament.
Yeah, both teams will have worked pretty hard on building platforms over the first 2 days, and they'll want to start to improve their execution. Both coaches will be wanting clinical performances. Like I said, both teams still in contention for tomorrow's final, so a good performance here will go a long way to both winning them the game and putting them in tomorrow's gold medal match. As we see the teams just go in here, we'll check out the lineups. For the Maoris, I really like the inclusion of Dylan Thomas, who didn't play in yesterday's game for the Maori team. His experience at the international level will bring another layer to the Maori side if they are to continue the big improvements they've made here over the weekend at Heritage Hockey. It'll be his work in the midfield with Stephen Atkinson and Callum Dempster that sets up the Maori team. They were good yesterday. They were solid for 3/4 of hockey, and will be disappointed not to have come away with 4 points from yesterday's game, but have proved they can do it. They just need to make sure they do it for a full 4 quarters. Now, the Heritage Barbarians, we see the coin toss there. Heritage Barbarians with a slight change in their lineup. They'll be without Vinny O'Connor today, unfortunately. But it is the midfield expertise of Dylan Muggleston, who has played so well in the first 2 games for the Heritage Barbarian side. He'll need to unlock some of the attacking prowess that this side has going forward, and look out for the likes of Jonathan Monlath and Charles Cleal, who both can attack with skill and speed, and they've been exciting for the Heritage Barbarians so far this weekend. The Barbarians coached by Clive Daniels and the Maoris coached by Boss Edmonds. As we see the teams prepare for their final entrances, the umpires for today will be David Oakley and Tom Paulin. Tama, it's going to be a game full of pride and full of passion. We saw the Maoris take on the Indians with a big game yesterday. Where do you see the key points for the Maori team?
I think you touched on Dylan Thomas, the inclusion of him. I think it's players like that, big sort of experienced and big game players. They just give confidence to the players around them, and so actually the wider team lifts as well. So I think that's going to create a bit of impact for them. And again, like I said earlier, hopefully they create clinical charges in the attacking zone as a result.
Yeah, and it's been a little bit of a mixed bag at the back for the Heritage Barbarians. They started there with Matt Rees-Gibbs, and he was strong. Vinny O'Connor played really well at the back for them yesterday. But the rock that has stayed there is Thomas Shah, who captained the team yesterday. He's going to have to be really big there at the back for the Heritage Barbarians when this Māori team start coming forward, and they've got some skill and speed going forward with the likes of Jordan Thomas, Kiharoa Iverson, Juri Hedawini. They're going to need to be clinical at the back, the Heritage Barbarians. Fortunately, they do have Bezadenhout in goal, who has been fantastic and picked up day 2 player of the tournament yesterday on the men's side. So there will be plenty of good defence, but they're going to need it today if this Māori team get in on a roll like they did yesterday. And the last preparations for the game here, we'll see the Māori team in the black singlets, the Heritage Barbarians in the red and black shirts. They will come out and we will start the first game of the men's bracket here in day 3 of Heritage Hockey Tournament down at Colmar Sports Centre. Tama, I expect a pretty fast start. Both teams will want to get the upper hand early and get into their work early. We just hear and see the Māoris go through their final preparation for the game. Hopefully we will be treated to a haka at some stage over the weekend, preferably in the final tomorrow if they make it there. It will be a fast start. Both teams will want to start early. The Māoris will be glad not to be playing in the 4 o'clock spot and contesting with the sun as they have for the last 2 days. What's the keys to the start here, Tama?
Yeah, I just think, that, like I said, day 3 now, everyone's got a bit more familiarity with each other, and I think, they'll be willing to go forward. And like I say, I think everyone wants a bit of a quick start here just to get the ascendancy early, even if it's just with pressure and territory and position. So that'll be the key here for the Barbarians as they have a hit-off.
Yeah, it will be Barbarians with first use of the ball here, and this is Dylan Muggleston on the ball. I'm going to put some pressure on here with the overhead, and Tufari Tuahapi there, just unable to catch that one cleanly. He had a couple of Barbarians raining down on him, and that is a pretty aggressive looking start there from the Barbarians, but Māoris with first real use of possession. Coming forward here was Hedawini Iverson, one of the 3 Iverson brothers playing today for the Māori team. That's Steve Atkinson, who I mentioned will be big in the midfield. It's Iverson again linking forward. He's got Juri Hedawini in front of him if he can find him. Just opts to work the free hit. There's Luke Holmes there on defence for the Heritage Barbarians. He's been included in the side today there with the headband. He does a good job there of just disrupting the dribble of Hedawini Iverson. The Barbarians will work out. It'll be interesting to see what they set up with at the back here. Tama, I mentioned they've been a bit shuffled around the back, but it's early into Dylan Muggleston, and just unable to link up there on the far side with Toby Platt for the Barbarians. And it's another Iverson Taimana on the ball there for the Māoris. He's got Te Heraka chase, and as proved very key for them yesterday, the Māoris, just their ability to roll the ball out to the back with chase and with Tufari Tuahapi, the skipper there, and resetting their shape. This will be Hemi Hickson onto the ball here for the Māoris.
Yeah, we can see the Barbarians being pretty active there and trying to maintain the ball on one side of the pitch as well, and almost getting an intercept there early.
Yes, Te Heraka chase there. He's done it a couple of times this week and just opts to roll the ball onto his reverse and has come off more times than not, but that one just a little wayward. Will give cheap ball for the Heritage Barbarians in the middle of the field there as they come forward. Good physical contest out there already. And Chase finds baseline entry there by the Māori. Steve Atkinson does well there with a nice upright stick to negate the 3D skill on the baseline of the Heritage Barbarians. It's Muggleston looking to link up there with Lloyd McLaughlin on the edge of the circle for the Barbarians, but just past the stick of him. And the Māoris will have a relieving free hit here. 16-yard hit through Tufari Tuahapi. He's got Callum Dempster, and that's going to be an interesting matchup. Dempster and Muggleston on either sides of the midfield there as Hedawini Iverson comes forward for the Māoris. Attempting to link back up there with Dempster, but Barbarians will come away here Luke Holmes just losing a bit of footing there. Steve Atkinson trying to unlock the other side of the field. He's found Iverson, and ahead of him is Jordan Thomas. He's done well to shake the original defence, and that is Jordan Thomas with the ball for the Māoris. Does enough to win the free hit, and it's taken quickly. A little too far off the mark for the umpires there, so Māoris will get a reset through Steve Atkinson. First real build up here for the Māoris. And it just escapes Jury Hidawini over the baseline.
We see quite a bit of urgency on the free hits from both teams. They're trying to get the ball in play pretty quickly and allowing the opposition team time to set and get a good screen on.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it's day 3, and one thing that day 3 does bring is some tired legs. So the teams that can take attacking positions quickly and turn defenders around might find a little bit of an advantage here, as there's a nice open. Jordan Thomas has found himself in some space. Jury Hidawini's going to have to get on his bike and get ahead of the play there. But that's a victim of day 3. Jordan Thomas still breaking across. He's got Dylan Thomas in front of him if he can link up. Just a little too far ahead there. It's a nice carry across the middle of the field there by Jordan Thomas, just trying to hold the ball up long enough for his strikers to link up with him. But good scramble defence by the Barbarians. They've done well enough to close the middle of the field there. This is Thomas Shah here for the Heritage Barbarians. He was solid yesterday in his work with Vinny O'Connor, but no Vinny O'Connor out here for the Barbarians today, so a lot will rest on the shoulders of Shah at the back. As we see Te Manawanui McPherson enter the fray for the Barbarians. Te Reka Chase will step onto the ball for the Māoris. He's linked up there with Hidawini Iverson, who just turns it on the inside. Nice quick play there by Taimana Iverson into Jury Hidawini, but just too high, and called danger there down on the back line for the Māoris. Unfortunate, because it was a nice entry, nice quick entry. Big overhead there by Muggleston. Tufari Toahapi's just the veteran play there to slow everything down. Fortunate for the Māoris because there were numbers up for the Barbarians. That's lovely touch passing there, and James Hickson with an effort
Does
play.
Well, yeah. He does enough though to slow the play down, break it down, and get the rest of the players to get back and frame up.
Yeah, it's not perhaps the prettiest of work there, but it does the job, and he do well to get out of that corner there, the Barbarians, across the other side of the field through Te Manawanui McPherson, who on the outside of Hale Pritchard. That's good. Te Reka Chase showing a bit of that
Passion.
We'll call it passion. This Māori team are certainly well known for. He won't take a backward step, will Te Reka Chase, so he'll stay solid in there. And this is Dylan Thomas with the ball coming forward. He's still coming forward, and unfortunately there just rolls onto the back of the foot of Callan Dempster. You can see a real intent from the Māoris to take these free hits quickly. They started well yesterday, and speaking to their coach Boss Edmonds, he was pleased with the way they started, so looks like a pretty obvious ploy here for them to get going at pace and get points on the board early. Yeah, that's found the foot of James Hickson, Hemi Hickson there. It was a nice little play there by Luke Holmes, who again taking free hits really quickly, trying to turn defenders around, perhaps a little cynical there as we watch the replay. Now here is Holmes, number 14. He gets it and goes quickly, flips it up onto the foot there of James Hickson, who's probably still asking for the first free hit.
Yeah, there's no time to rest by the look at this, isn't it? It's a frantic pace, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a really quick start here, and we expected nothing less with everything that's on the line in this game. But it will be the Heritage Barbarians through Dylan Muggleston, who's been fantastic at set piece this weekend with first option here from the penalty corner. Unfortunate there for the Barbarians. It hasn't come away clean. Yeah, they'll be disappointed in that, the Barbarians. They've been very good from penalty corner, and Dylan Muggleston would have been eyeing up early scoreboard pressure against the Māoris, but just not able to be taken in clean there. Obviously, as important as the penalty corner is, Tama, so is the execution of the skill.
Yeah, it gives you a massive opportunity, doesn't it? Obviously, advantage to numbers, and you do as a team. You obviously want to make the most of those opportunities. Here's
That's
a great
fantastic
through
ball from Steve Atkinson. Finds Kiharo Iverson in front of goal, and he makes it past Ruan Bezadenhout, but unfortunately not on target and not to Hale Pritchard there on the post for the Māoris. That's the vision and excellence of Steve Atkinson in the midfield for the Māoris. Fantastic lead up there by Kiharo Iverson, the third of the Iverson brothers out here today.
Yeah, we're seeing some long pass options now, whether it's in the aerial route or even just the flat ball in space, and it's going to be really interesting to see if that's a strategy that both teams look to carry through, or whether it's just there to get that first goal under their belt and settle things down.
Yeah, both teams have the ability to throw that long ball. We've seen it from both sides across this weekend, both in the air and on the ground, and strikers that can get ahead of the ball will provide opportunities, as we do see Charles Cleal there, who I mentioned earlier. He's got some good ability coming forward for the Barbarian side. He's quick when he's in open space, but in the space is Taiman Iverson linking up with Dylan Thomas there for the Māoris. There's Kiharo Iverson ahead if they can find him. Good hold up there by Te Manawanui McPherson. He's done well there to pull in Taiman Iverson. It's a lovely double transfer. This is Dylan Muggleston trying to unlock Caleb Williamson, who does well, putting pressure on Vance Harvey. Steve Atkinson finds the exit there through Tim Greenwood, who's got a ton of gas if he can get into some spaces. And here is Tim Greenwood. Luke Holmes does enough to slow it down, and onto the ball comes Callum Dempster for the Māoris. This is Kiharo Iverson again finding space in the circle. He's done really well so far on his first stint on the field for the Māoris. This is a quick game.
Yeah, both teams are doing well to get numbers there, because they're covering a lot of yards to get there.
Yeah, I made mention of this at the Māoris yesterday. I was both surprised and impressed that they were able to keep their fast pace up for as long as they did in the game, and another game under the belt. I'll be equally impressed if they can keep this up, either team here, for full quarters and periods at a time. So Callum Dempster here takes it quickly for the Māoris. He's just outside the 25-yard line. And that will be Dylan Thomas right up on the edge of the circle for the Māoris. Finds Taiman Iverson on the back line. Ruan Bezadenhout coming out of his goal is going to have to be careful here.
Oh, open. That's it.
Yep, and it's a touch from Tim Greenwood, which finds Kiharo Iverson across the far side of the goal, and it's put in there for the Māoris goal. First goal of the game, and gives the advantage to the Māoris. I mentioned Ruan got out really early on the entry, as we see the replay here. Lovely little reverse stick received by Taiman Iverson. He's met by Bezadenhout, and you can see there 2 or 3 Māori players on the other side of the field, and it was, Tim Greenwood touch in front of the goal, which gave Kiharo the tap in on the far post. And both Iverson brothers involved there. I mentioned them yesterday, and they've started well again today, and it's the Māoris with early scoreboard pressure. Tama, that's what happens when you get multiple opportunities going forward and you take quick free hits. Yeah,
I just touched on Jordan Thomas's composure there, just on the ball, just held the ball up just enough to wait for the right option and flicked it into space here with players ahead of the ball. So you're really good to see that from a fairly young player.
You can see there Tufari Hapi just attempting to link up with Juri Hedawini. They've played a huge amount of hockey together, coming right through from plenty under 13s all the way through to Waiariki men's Māori hockey, and here for the New Zealand men's. They'll be a good strong link if they can find that distance ball. Obviously would love to see Connor Hedawini out here and Tutirangi Rahuruhu, but strong Waiariki contingent nonetheless as the Barbarians come forward here. This is Cleal, he's got the entry. And a couple of young boys out of Rotorua, Tim Greenwood from Taupo and Vance Harvey from Rotorua, just cleaning things up. And there's Jordan Thomas on the ball for the Māoris. It's a fortunate bounce there, and it will remain possession for the Māoris. Vance Harvey just clearing a little bit of space for himself there. It's Tim Greenwood, traditionally a striker. He's just rolled out to right half here in replace of Vance Harvey, who has moved a little bit further up the field. This is part of the excitement that is these cultural teams, isn't it, Tama, where they just flow and they play flowing hockey, and if someone goes forward, someone replaces.
Yeah, it's certainly indicative of the more modern game of hockey, isn't it? That it's much more fluid than the old days and static sort of positions back in our day.
Yeah, keep things free flowing, makes the game go faster. And Will Lacey just picks up a little bit of a warning there from the umpire. I think they probably feel pretty hard done by that the ref took them back for a free hit, considering they had 3 players going forward in front of the ball. And unfortunately unable to bring it down there was Luke Holmes. So the Māori team will have the relieving free hit, and Vance Harvey will just take his time, allowing his team to set. Steve Atkinson here on the ball for the Māoris. He's got Tufari Happy behind him, and a nice little overhead option if he can link up, but makes it as far as the dugout with no
receive. The pace has just slowed a little bit. I wonder 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes now to go in this first quarter, where everyone's just sort of holding up and sealing into things. The pressure wasn't there from the Barbarians on the New Zealand Māori team there, and the Māori team were able to just hold position for a bit there.
Yeah, both teams are going to have to be smart about when they exude all that pressure. They're not going to be able to do it for the full game, so perhaps 6 to 7 minute stints where they really look to put some pressure on. The Māoris obviously getting reward for their first 6 or 7 minutes, and will just look to condense and consolidate their lead at the moment. Barbarians looking to condense the middle of the field, and that is Luke Holmes who's picked the ball up. He's got Tian Byes coming forward with the ball. His eyes are up. It's lovely received there, but the Barbarians...
Good tackle though.
Good solid tackle there by Hedwini Iverson. Just gets tangled up there with Jordan Whittleston. This is Vance Harvey. He's got Callum Dempster. Steve Atkinson's done really well there, just to link up with Rainieta Harris, but the Māoris will bring the ball back there for the free hit. The other one's ahead on the scoreboard, so they won't mind it as much coming back for that free hit. Steve Atkinson with the ball there. Has Quinton Smith outside him. We can see some good it's trap pressure in the midfield by the Heritage Barbarians, just allowing the Māoris to make that first pass into the midfield and then swarming on it there. Tama requires a little less running than the full press, but can be as equally successful if they execute it well.
Yeah, the midfield traps are can be pretty rewarding. Obviously, it's just around timing though, making sure no one gets a hit, because otherwise you get a few players get committed and then they get beaten on the free hit. So they do have to be careful.
And this is Te Reka Chase working his way through, and somehow he's managed to get back up off the ground and still has possession of the ball. Rainieta Harris just trying the flip and run. And the reverse stick
shoots across the front of the face of the goal there.
Yeah, reverse stick pass beats everyone across the front of the goal, fortunately for the Barbarians. With the minute left to go, they won't want to go into the sheds any more than the 1 goal down they currently are, as Luke Holmes surveys and opens up the midfield through Muggleston and Byes. Byes does well there just to consolidate his possession and link back up with Holmes. Holmes finds Caleb Williamson up on the ball here for the Barbarians. Callum Dempster comes in to tidy up for the Māoris. He does a really good job. Dylan Thomas understanding time on the clock here. Rolls the ball out to Vance Harvey.
Yeah, really good small games now, isn't it? They're just given to the right person. Anyone in a better position, just give the ball.
Yeah, I think the Māori team understand if they can force the Heritage Barbarians to run on defence, it'll limit the running they get to do at them in gameplay. So a smart little period of play here after scoring the goal from the Māoris. Quinton Smith just getting a bit of snow on that one. With only seconds left to play in this first quarter.
It could be
perhaps a tactical one. Yeah. And that brings the first quarter of action here between the New Zealand Māoris and the Heritage Barbarians to an end. We are first men's game here on day 3 of the Heritage Hockey Tournament, with everything to play for. These two teams both eyeing a spot in tomorrow's gold medal match if they can win it in regulation time. It's the Māoris with first advantage, 1-0 to a goal through a goal to Kiharoa Iverson, as we see some of the highlights from this first quarter. Māoris certainly with the share of territory. Harley Kopa not called to make any saves yet for the Māoris. The Heritage Barbarians certainly had a couple of goes at it. They just couldn't get that last bit happening. And though they had first option from the set piece, it was untidy at the top. Unfortunately, because we have seen the exploits of Dylan Muggleston all weekend pay off for his team. And the free hit there before the shot coming away. It was the Māoris when they started to create linking passes, and there's a lovely one through to Kiharu Iverson, who found excellent space in his first stint on the field. That one just going past the goal there of Ruan Bezuidenhout. But it's this one here from Tymon Iverson, beats Ruan Bezuidenhout on the baseline and just opens up the circle for his teammates Tim Greenwood to Kiharu Iverson. And that is the goal that separates the two teams at this point in the match. Still early days here, and Tama, there's going to be a lot more hockey and a lot more opportunity. I think both teams exerted a lot of energy in that first quarter, and the game's going to start to open up here in later stages of this game, which is going to create opportunities both ways. And we look for both teams have ability to go forward, and it's going to bring an exciting brand of hockey here for the next 45 minutes. As the teams come back out onto the field here at Colmar Sports Centre in Papatoetoe. It's the Māori men in the black singlets and the Heritage Barbarians in the red and black strip. Heritage Barbarians will have first use of the ball this quarter, and it will be through Dylan Muggleston. And they look to come forward, but it's possession on the cards for the Barbarians, as Timana Wanui McPherson just does well there to earn the free hit, and he's got Lloyd McLaughlin up the line, unable to pull it in there. Terika Chase just does enough in the pressure to win the sideline hit for the Māoris. Tamara, it's a good start by the Māori team. They started well yesterday. What do they need to continue to do if they're going to want to add to the scoreboard lead at the moment?
Oh, look, they'll want to try to starve the Barbarians from the ball. You know, they're obviously one up now, and the game itself even looks a little bit more settled than it was in that first quarter. It's we saw probably in the last sort of 5-6 minutes a bit more possession, and great build up here. As you see,
fantastic start here by the Māoris. Absolutely fantastic start. That came right from that sideline hit that Terika Chase took on the left side. Worked all the way up there, and it was an impressive ball forward. As Callum Dempster found Steve Atkinson, and it's this pass forward here to the edge of the circle, which will really please Boss Edmonds. Hedewini Iverson there just taking some physical contact in the back, and wins the penalty corner for the Māoris.
Yeah, I really like it. Nice little attacking pass there, just on a little bit outside the stretched reverse stick side there. So it gave the ascendancy still to the New Zealand Māori, and obviously then put some pressure on the defence to give away a bit of a free hit, and obviously penalty corner there.
Yeah, so Tūwhare Tuahapi has stepped up onto the first bracket here for the Māoris. He's got Jordan Thomas on the second bracket. Hapi scored yesterday for the Māori men's, and it will come to him. And it's another one for Hapi there past the outstretched leg of Ruan Bezuidenhout. Tūwhare Tuahapi adding to his goal-scoring tally for the weekend. It was Steve Atkinson in the first game who was flicking for the Māoris, but day 2 and day 3 brings forward Tūwhare Tuahapi, the captain of the Māori side, as we see the replay here. Yeah, just that ugly height off the ground. Tough for a goalkeeper to get a boot to and a defender to get a stick to, and it doubles the lead here for the Māori men early in the second quarter. And I think you're right, Tama. If this Māori team are going to play the whole 70 minutes like they were probably unable to do yesterday, they're going to want to have periods of control here as well as the periods of go forward. So unable to bring that one down was Hemi Hickson there for the Māoris. 2-0, they've been here before. The Māoris were 2-0 up yesterday against the Indians yesterday, and it was probably 2 goals in 3 minutes early in the fourth quarter that sent the game to a shootout. So the Māoris will want to get to 3 where they can without forcing it. 2-goal lead is a strange one in hockey, isn't it, Tama, where you think you're away with the races, and then it's 1 goal and all of a sudden you're in the arm wrestle again. So they certainly won't be resting on 2-0.
Yeah, we saw that game day one, didn't we? We saw a number of games there that were sort of sitting in the relatively what felt comfortable at 2-0, and then all of a sudden, towards the end of the fourth quarter, we just saw a quick goal and then a very quick second goal after that, just to bring it all together and level. And obviously, we saw a few shootouts as well. So the New Zealand Maori team will certainly be wanting to stay away from that.
Yeah, it seems the 2-goal lead might be the curse here at the tournament. We've seen plenty of 2-goal leads go missing in very quick fashion, both in the men's and women's games this weekend. But that such is the excitement of heritage hockey, and when these teams can play with the flair and freedom that they love to play with, it creates attacking opportunities, and 1 goal often means 2. As we see Tymon Iverson here with the ball for the Māoris, he shapes up against Manawanui McPherson. McPherson does well enough there just to run Iverson out of space on the back line, but it will be the Māoris with long corner through Steve Atkinson.
Just see the New Zealand Māori playing smart here, just sort of bringing the ball back out just to create a bit more passing space and behind the Barbarians' defence.
Yeah, it's about keeping possession for periods of the game here, especially after scoring a goal. There's nothing worse as Bezaden how it just kicks the ball out there to Lloyd McLaughlin. There's nothing worse than doing everything right to score a goal and then conceding one quickly after. So they know they don't need to force things right here at 2-0 up, but it's important that they stick to good processes and starve the Heritage Barbarians of possession. This is Steve Atkinson just working his way out with Tehiraka Chase. He's done well there. Chase. It's a bit of a bobble on it, but Hickson does well enough to link up with Dempster. This is Hale Pritchard, one of the young players for the Māoris team, who has been particularly impressive going forward. He links up with Tim Greenwood, who I mentioned earlier has a ton of pace. It just runs out of space there up on the back line. Tama, you'll know just as well as I, when you run that fast, the field gets pretty short quickly.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that about 20 years ago. I like how the New Zealand Māori, they have got, defensively they've got quite good shape and good space off each other, and they're not rushing things, they're just sort of picking off quite a few passes and things like that, so they're not forcing the issue, which is really good to see. They're still playing with that level of control.
Yeah, they've matured into this tournament really well, and you can see just strong lines here, good shape, knowing where players are likely to be on the field. As we do see McPherson just pick up an intercept here, and he's got Charles Cleal coming forward. He's got Luke Holmes and Tehiraka Chase. That's so cool there. Just picks the ball up off his hip and plays out through to Wharetoa Hapi.
Must be commentator's curse, just giving them a bit of a wrap around their positional play and just sort of give a quick turnover and see it down their defensive end.
And this one's come up off the stick of Callum Dempster, and Chase again, as he so often does, just rides his way out of contact, keeps the ball near his stick and makes it really hard for defenders to dispossess him. And this is him up on the ball here now, attempting the one-hand reverse stick pass up the line.
All the bags of tricks are coming out today,
Yeah, we'll be the Heritage Barbarians to bring the ball forward through Toby Platt. He finds Dylan Muggleston in the midfield, and Te Manawanui McPherson. He's got Thomas Shah at the back. Here is Platt again with Kiharoa Iverson coming at him. And Charles Cleal there just unable to bring that one under control up the sideline. I mentioned Charles Cleal in the build-up. Hopefully we can see him going forward with a little bit of space at some point this afternoon, because he is exciting with the ball on his stick. As we see, this is Tehiraka Chase here. He's got Caleb Williamson running alongside him. Links up well there with Steve Atkinson, not forcing anything, who has Callum Dempster, and back to Atkinson. That's lovely midfield play there, Tama, by the Māoris.
You just get good 1-2 passing, isn't it? It's just give and go, and get it back, and it's just a nice, easy, simple way of maintaining possession and still getting a bit of go forward.
He makes it easy for the ball carrier too when his teammates are running off the ball. And this is Callum Dempster just finding the entry. Thomas Shah there doing really well for the Barbarians, low in defence, and Dylan Muggleston not able to get past Dylan Thomas for the Māoris. That'll be an exciting battle as the game progresses there. Dylan Muggleston for the Barbarians against Dylan Thomas for the Māoris, playing in similar areas of the field, and both with an innate ability to go forward at pace. And Steve Atkinson just rolls the ball out to his skipper, and Tufari Toa Hapi. And just as I thought about it there, we hear the voice of Harley Kopa commanding more from his team. It's great to have a vocal leader like that at the back, especially as the game wears on and the lungs get a little heavy as the Māoris come forward here through. Hirewini Iverson finds his brother Kiharoa Iverson, but it is Dylan Muggleston cleaning up for the Barbarians. He's got Tian Byes going forward up the right-hand side of the field, and it's back to Muggleston, who has been so good coming forward for the Barbarians. James Hickson does well in final clearance there and releasing Hirewini Iverson. He's got Drew Hirewini, Dylan Thomas and Kiharoa Iverson up in front of him. Tries to go over to Kiharoa, and here he is, Kiharoa Iverson. Good save there by Ruamba Zadenhout in goal. This is Taiman Iverson, so we've got all three Iversons on at the moment for the Māoris. Taiman on the ball there. Good option there just to recycle out, get a bit of control back, change the point of attack now that all the Barbarians have come back into their defensive shape. Great tackle there by Jonathan Mounlith. He's going to try and... I'm glad for Caleb Williamson's sake there that he slowed up his run, because I think Tufari Tuahapi had just parked the tractor in the middle of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly not a bus I'd like to go and approach too quickly.
No, he's seen the light, fortunately, before he's had to see the light there, Caleb Williamson, but the Māoris come forward here, not any further than Dylan Muggleston, and Luke Holmes comes forward with the ball. He's been good today, Luke Holmes.
Yeah, not too many forward options, unfortunately.
And Caleb Williamson there just trying to work through Vance Harvey. Will win the free hit for the Barbarians. Yeah, unfortunate there for the Heritage Barbarians. They thought they'd done enough outside the circle there to earn their ability to go in, but will be a relieving free hit for the Māoris as Terika Chase just opens the wrists on that one through to Tim Greenwood, who bounces one past Dylan Muggleston, not easily beaten, but Greenwood coming forward with pace has Hale Pritchard unable to pick it up on his reverse stick. It's a fortunate one there for the Heritage Barbarians, because Pritchard scored a cracker of a goal on his reverse stick earlier in the weekend in a similar fashion to that one there. But Māori's doing everything right here at the moment in terms of consolidating their lead, trying to avoid anything too risky, as Holmes does come forward and finds Mounlith here for the Barbarians. Terika Chase with a tough bit of defensive work there. Hard to get the reverse stick across in front of the left foot like that and remain upright, but he's done well. Tama, with just over 5 minutes to go here, this Heritage Barbarian side are going to have to keep pushing forward. You know, they need an outright win and nothing else to make tomorrow's gold medal match. What have you liked so far about what they've been doing in their attack?
Yeah, look, I like the fact that these last probably 2 or 3 minutes now, they are actually just getting numbers ahead of the ball. I mentioned earlier that perhaps on the break they just didn't have that ahead of them, and it's such a big part of the game. If you can maintain that advantage, it becomes really difficult for the defensive team to get settled and set up. So, yeah, I just think making sure they keep that energy on the breaks when they can. It's obviously hard to keep up, but yeah, I'd love to see that continue.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the Māori team doing so many good things so far this first half that'll please them, but they'll have to keep it up for the full 70 minutes if they walk away with the points here. Is Hale Pritchard going forward? He's got Ronnie Harris if he can find him. He'll go himself, Hale Pritchard. Dylan Muggleston does fantastically well there, getting in real close on the reverse stick shot and then doing enough just to roll the ball onto Pritchard's foot. It's a lovely bit of skill there. I'm almost surprised when Dylan Muggleston doesn't receive that ball behind his back there with everything he has done so well this weekend. Johnny Monlath there, unable to bring that one under control. The Māoris just want to settle things down here with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. The Heritage Barbarians have had a couple of opportunities to come at them. Callum Dempster just shores things up with Hirewini Iverson. He's got Ronnie Harris there. That's a shot he would have liked again. Rani Harris probably a better option than the one he took.
The New Zealand Maori team are finding it relatively comfortable getting out of their exits, so it might be something that the Barbarians may want to look to address for the second half there, and trying to close them down and put a bit more pressure on their exits. Much easier to turn the ball over high and get there to take a chance in turnovers.
Yeah, here comes Taiman Iverson working his way into the 25-yard line, just gets around Caleb Williamson and earns himself the free hit there for the Māori team. Yeah, you're right. Where teams have found success against this Māori team is putting pressure on the back group, and I know it takes a lot of physical energy to do that, and tough on a third day of tournament. But I think that has to be the key for them as they will go into the halftime break here behind on the scoreboard. As Luke Holmes comes forward with the ball.
Yeah, it's good energy getting ahead of the ball there. Unfortunately, just the pass not sticking, but that's good. That's good energy.
Yeah, it was Charles Clearly was trying to link up with and up this left-hand side of the field. As we see the Barbarians just falling back out to a three-quarter press here. Yeah, they want to force mistakes out of this Māori men's exit, and sitting back like that's probably not the way to do it. Though, like I said, they're going to have to pick their times. You can see there as Will Lacey shot up out of the line. It did just open up the midfield for the Māoris, so it's going to have to be a team effort when they go. They all have to go. As Hedewini Iverson just works forward down the left side for the Māoris. Callum Dempster just trying to get the ball back into Iverson, but the link wasn't there.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for the New Zealand Barbarians team. The New Zealand Māori team are pretty clinical now. Just the passes are sticking, and people are making good leads to create those easy options out. So yeah, it's going to be a tough challenge here for the Barbarians to try to put their pressure on when they choose to do so.
Yeah, I've been really impressed by the midfield efforts for the Māori side. Guys like this here, Callum Dempster on the ball, Steve Atkinson, Dylan Thomas, who we spoke about earlier, even Vance Harvey, who's found himself in the midfield now there on the ball, young fella from Rotorua, just doing really well in keeping the middle of the field battle won by the Māoris. As Tereka Chase just tries to force one forward, but this is Muggleston coming out. He's got buys, and it's a pretty tough challenge there by Chase, and gets away with it. As Rani Harris comes forward with the ball, linking up with Hale Pritchard, and that is Pritchard for the Māoris. Taiman Iverson, and it just sails past the far post there. Geordie Thomas was there nice and low, but it's one of those ones, Tama, where you don't know if you're going full stick or reverse, and the ball comes so quickly.
Yeah, not a lot of time to react, as you sort of hold a good body position and just hope that the ball goes where you want it to.
Yeah, Tereka Chase with the miss on the bobble here, opens up Will Lacey. That's fantastic defensive work there by Tufari Toahapi.
Nice body position.
Good body position there. Probably hands in the ruck by Will Lacey. Taiman Iverson opens up Vance Harvey up the left side of the field. Just runs away from him. That's our third day of tournament. Although you'd want him to get his feet around and pick that up on the forehand. This is nice play here from the Barbarians. Although Callum Dempster comes screaming in reverse defence. Apologies, Hedewini Iverson. Here is Taiman Iverson linking up with Vance Harvey. He's got Jordan Thomas streaking forward. There's Kiharu Iverson and Hale Pritchard in the circle. And Toby Platt does really well just to get everything in front of the ball there and not allow the ball to go through, because there were two players streaming down the middle of the field for the Māori team. And it's end of the second quarter here, so end of the first half of action. The teams will go into a 5-minute break here. It's been a solid first half for the Māoris. They've certainly had the run of it. They were up and fast and at it in the first quarter, and incredibly controlled in their efforts in the second quarter. And it is 2 goals to the Māoris, the first by Kiharu Iverson and second to Tufari Toahapi. And it's come off the back of this midfield play here, Tama, that's been so good for the Māoris.
You just get pulled up playing control, isn't it? They just seem to be finding the spaces. I wouldn't say at ease, but relatively comfortably, and it is paying dividends by getting the ball in the attacking zone with relatively good circle entries and good numbers up there. So, yeah, I'm sure Coach Diamond Edmonds will be pretty happy for the most part. I think just that last sort of couple of minutes there by that defensive run just to get in and disrupt that sort of attacking play by the Barbarians really probably would sum it up from a coaching perspective. The effort's there, and they know how much it means to the team just to put that extra effort in and not give that little window of opportunity.
Yeah, they're in a similar position to where they were yesterday, the Maori men, finding good dominance in the first half and finding themselves up 2-0. But they're going to have to take a further step than what they did yesterday. For those that tuned in and watched the game against the Indians yesterday afternoon, squandered a 2-0 lead to finish the game 2-2 and take the game to shootouts, where they had been so dominant for 3/4 of the game. So I'm sure the messaging there from Boss Edmonds will be to continue all the good stuff, don't get complacent. They know what 2-0 can turn into very, very quickly, so it's got to be them that puts the foot on the throat and makes it 3-0 before this Barbarian side find their way back into the match.
Yeah,
and on the
top 2 inches, isn't it, Brad, really? Just around making sure that they stay in the moments, because as soon as you get complacent, like you say, it's all the teams here in the competition are able to score almost at will to some degree, so as soon as you give them that opportunity, those teams are able to put it away.
Yeah, and that third goal is always the toughest, and it is going to come down to experience as opposed to just trying to throw everything as fast as you can, because overexerting risk and reward here when you're up 2-0 can very quickly turn into 2-1. So they're going to have to continue what's working, keep their build-up play. Boss Edmonds will want to keep the ship tight, but it is there if they can continue to play the way they have. And alternatively, on the other side, Clive Daniels will be reminding his team that it's only 2 goals. There's still 35 minutes of hockey out here to play, and they've shown, as teams have all weekend, that goals only come if you make the effort to get yourself in good positions, you keep to your game plans, and you keep periods of possession. And anything that a team can do in a half, a team can do in a quarter by the looks of this tournament. So he'll be asking that they don't stress, they don't need to score 3 goals in the next 3 minutes. They just need to stick to their processes and make sure they create quality opportunities going forward, and they'll want to be the next ones to score, no doubt. But they're not in a desperate mode yet to do it.
No, we've already seen plenty of games as good examples of that, haven't we, Brad, in terms of those late goals and flurry of goals at that. So, yeah, by all accounts, I'm sure Clive will be telling the team just to keep the process, the old cliche to some degree, keep doing what we've talked about, and the opportunities will keep presenting themselves, and it's just up to the team and obviously the front line to make sure they just execute when they get those opportunities a little bit more effectively than perhaps what they have so far.
Yeah, and that's the key. Like any tournament, when teams come together quite late or there's limited build-up, is execution. And there's one thing that you can control, and that's your first touch, your receive, your quality of pass. That's the stuff that they will really want to be focusing on. The rest of it will happen as the game progresses and there's waves of momentum either side. So it's the team that can capitalise on those that will be successful. And you can see there Clive just talking to his Barbarian side there. They've had some good players. I thought Luke Holmes was really was good for the Barbarians. I think it's his first game in for the side today. He linked up well there with Dylan Muggleston, who's been impressive all weekend. As we see on the other side there, Tracy Edmonds, the boss of the boss, in there making sure that these boys don't let up like they did in yesterday's final quarter against the Indians. They'll want to make sure that they make their way to the gold medal match, which they were unable to find last year, and they've got themselves in a great opportunity to do so. As we see the team there going for their final bits and pieces for the halftime break. Just a reminder for those of you who are out there watching us on the New Zealand Heritage Hockey Facebook page, the SkysportNext YouTube channel and the FIH app. We have one more game after this one, which will be the New Zealand Indians taking on the New Zealand Pacifica men, which is sure to be an absolute fight and war this afternoon. Thank you for joining along and watching us so far with New Zealand Heritage Hockey. Thanks to Local Gecko Productions. It's been a fantastic tournament so far, and with everything to play for in both these men's matches, I'm sure it's going to be an exciting one as the Māori team get first use of the ball here in the third quarter. It is Dylan Thomas, and just opting to go back and settle things down at the back with Tufari Happy, who's got Dempster. That's lovely midfield work. And they unlock Tim Greenwood here. Fast start for the Māoris. Yeah, bang by Tim Greenwood, goes far post. Tim Greenwood over a Hangi last night told me that he was due to get on the scoreboard, and that's a fantastic start by the Māoris. Third quarter. Look at this. Midfield linking up with midfield. Fantastic ball across the pitch there. I thought Jury Hedowini had sold it, but it's a well leave there for Tim Greenwood, and that is absolutely perfect execution of the reverse stick shot there by the Māoris and by Tim Greenwood. Tama, it looks like whatever Tracy said is on the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the opportunity presented itself. They're just clinical, as we talked about through that midfield. The Barbarians looked like they were wanting to put pressure on, but a little bit ad hoc, maybe not as a unit. And just the New Zealand Māori team found a good passing way through them, and obviously ended up in a really well worked goal there.
Yeah, he'd be happy with that. Tim Greenwood. He was due for one. He's done a lot of the hard work for the striking unit. And the Māoris come forward again here. Jordan Thomas can find Dylan Thomas. It's cleaned up there. The crab dribble out of defence by the Barbarians. Tian Bai's unable to bring that one under control. Yeah, for any young midfielders watching this game at home, replay that passage of play there between Callum Dempster and Steve Atkinson, who just knew where each other were before they'd even received the ball. You see Callum Dempster just pick and pass that straight away to Steve Atkinson, who opened up the other side. And this is Hedowini Iverson. Just rolls the ball onto the foot there. Fast start by the Māoris. They've come out with absolute fire this third quarter, and up comes the skipper, Tufari Toahapi. As we see the replay here, just a nice change of pace here by Hedowini Iverson. Gets on the outside of the defender. Little baseline entry and just rolls it in onto the foot of the Barbarians player. Good percentage play. Not a lot more he'd want out of that baseline entry than the PC, Tama.
Yeah, the Barbarians just maybe a little bit disconnected in terms of the space around the back there. Just left a bit of room there for him to exploit, and obviously made the most of it there. So this Māori team's going to be looking for more. If they get their tails up, they're just going to keep going, aren't they?
And that one's just gone wide there off the stick of Geordie Thomas. But the Barbarians get it going quick, and they've got numbers forward. Remember, Tufari Toahapi did come up to take the penalty corner, but Steve Atkinson gets back there well for the Māoris, and Muggleston unable to pull it in. And speaking of Hapi, he's gone the other way now. I'm not sure he knows what to do up there, but he's up above halfway.
He's staying there too. He's committed.
Ball at the back here with the Māoris. It's Teraka Chase on the ball, hoping for some of his players to continue moving. It's come down a little bit scrappy, but Muggleston brings it under control here. Heritage Barbarians come forward. It is Muggleston again on the ball. He's got Tian Bais in the middle of the field, who opens up through to Manawanui McPherson for the Heritage Barbarians. He's got an entry. Good defensive work, but the Barbarians have got another opportunity here if they can link up in the circle. It's scrappy for the Māoris. And scrappy's just the way Teraka Chase likes it. He does well there. He's bobbling around in front of the goal there of the Māoris for a little bit, and they've done well not to concede a penalty corner. And win themselves a free hit up on halfway there through Hemi Hickson, going on a bit of a dribble out of right half. Jury Hedowini going to take on Tian Bais, does well, and will earn a penalty corner there. Probably fortunate for Jury. I don't think he had much other option than to wear that contact.
No, but the quick free hit though, that puts you in those positions, doesn't it? And it's up to the officials to make the call.
Yeah, he's done well, taking this one quickly, and then I know there's not a lot there Tian Bais can do, but it will be a penalty corner. And it will be the Māori team here with Jordan Thomas and Steve Atkinson on the bracket. Tufari Toahapi having to make the run back down to his own end. Māori's up 3-0, penalty corner. Good save there by Zadenhout. It's fallen back to Atkinson on the edge of the circle. Well played there by the umpire, not to blow anything too quickly. It wasn't overly dangerous as it came down, and the Māoris have got possession here through Tim Greenwood. And it's the work there of Luke Holmes tidying up.
Really well blown there. I think that's good. There was nothing in there. There was having a good clear sight, so let it play through. And everyone.
It's Tufari Toahapi taking control of that back area, and Tim Greenwood, the most recent goal scorer for the Māoris, getting back there to work as well. He's shown a great amount of effort so far this game. Tim Greenwood, he was up trapping him on the penalty corner bracket and was the first one back there to help his skipper Tufari Toahapi defend the counter-attack. Still in Muggleston, just eyes up Timanonu McPherson for the Barbarians. He'll roll the ball back out here and they'll try and change the point of attack through Tom Shah.
He's all 11 back in the defensive space though, so there's not a lot of room there for the Barbarians to throw through.
Yeah, that'll be pleasing for Boss Edmonds, despite them being up 3-0, that they all still stay engaged on both sides of the ball. Like I said yesterday, they know that as soon as they take breaks off, this game can change so quickly. So it'll be pleasing for them to see. And like we saw in that halftime break, perhaps it was some of the fiery words from Tracy Edmonds as well that has spurred this on. But the Barbarians here at Scrappy again. And it's enough clear for the Māoris, and Māoris have Jordan Thomas.
Look at that
Kiro Iverson moving forward. They link up with Callum Dempsey as a 3-on-2 here if they can release the ball early. It's back to Jordy Thomas. Ruan does well there just to get in front of Jordy Thomas and back into his goal. And Tama from the angle we were looking at though, that one's gone over the roof.
Yep.
There was a bit in it.
Yeah, you got behind it all right. I'll just touch on that effort there at Kiaroa. Iverson there just really putting them effort in to get ahead and just made the defence have to make decisions, and that just created that inside pass. So those are the little things in the games that really matter. You don't necessarily get the ball, but actually it creates something. So yeah, the boss will be absolutely stoked with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think what's particularly impressive about efforts like that is often you don't get the ball in that situation, but to continue running like that pulls defensive shapes apart. And though he didn't get the shots on goal, he opened up the opportunity. So, for young players that are watching that, and strikers that often like receiving the ball at the top of the circle and wanting that beautiful reverse stick shot, it's so much work off the ball you can do to help your teammates. As Tymon Iverson just tries to come forward, he's got his brother Hedewini on the ball now. Dylan Thomas will be looking at his stick wondering how it didn't hit it on the way through to the goal. It's a lovely ball in there by Hedewini Iverson looking for Dylan Thomas. He's in an acre of space there on an island in front of the goal.
Yeah, those moments, isn't it, where I don't know what it is with the sticks, but those magical holes just suddenly appear, don't they, at the wrong time?
Yeah, absolutely. This is Hale Pritchard on the ball, but he's dispossessed there in the middle by the Barbarians, and they come forward through Charles Cleal and Luke Holmes. Holmes on the ball here now has Caleb Williamson linking back up for the Barbarians. But again, it's Te Rika Chase. She just does really well on his way out there. And I've given some advice to young players so far on who to watch, but defenders there's nobody who gets in the mixer better than Te Rika Chase, and nice and low, physical, can wear some contact, and just tidies up well there for the Māoris. This is almost an opportunity to come forward here. Hale Pritchard a little displeased with his own inability to receive the ball there. And the umpires have called a stoppage here.
Shannon Hohepa is coming in.
We will see the first action for Shannon Hohepa in goal for the New Zealand Māoris. For a number of years here, we've been so used to seeing and hearing Harley Cooper in goal for the Māoris. He will get his an early rest here for the Māoris, and we will bring Shannon Hohepa into the game for his first action of Heritage Hockey Tournament for the Māoris. And this is not good look for the Barbarians as Dylan Thomas comes forward. He's got Hal Pritchard and Kiharu Iverson. So Barbarians break out here through Dylan Muggleston and Luke Holmes. Again, Tamara, I don't know if you noticed off the ball there, the work of Kiharu Iverson just to reposition when he saw Hal Pritchard diving to the far post there. Again, strikers, it's a really good look for work off the ball there. It's just continuing to reposition and move yourselves into good spots. Kiharu Iverson's been really good today in his spatial awareness as the Barbarians do find their way through the goal, and I think it's the stick of Caleb Williamson that gets there. It's gone one end to the other very quickly. And as I sing the praises of Kiharo Iverson, unfortunately it's gone the other end. But the Barbarians will be stoked. They've got their first one on the board, and like we saw yesterday, one goal can become two if teams can go quickly and can stick to their process and play high quality hockey. So 3-1 here to the Māoris.
Yeah, the next few minutes will be interesting to see how both teams react there to that goal. It can certainly change the dynamics, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, the Māoris obviously be disappointed to concede one there. Barbarians will grow in confidence, I'm sure, from their first goal. They were involved in a first day thriller where they scored one on the buzzer to get to a penalty shootout as well, the Barbarians. So anything's possible here in this final 25 odd minutes left in this match between the New Zealand Māoris and the Heritage Barbarians, as we see Callum Dempster happy to roll the ball back to Te Heraka Chase and pull some of those Heritage Barbarians defenders out of the middle of the park. It's good work there by the Heritage Barbarians. Turn over and they've got ball coming forward here. This is Luke Holmes. He's got Charles Clear. He's also got Caleb Williamson there on the ball. Luke Holmes.
Looks like there's an infringement Shepherd there, was it?
Yeah, and that was very quickly, almost very quickly, one goal into two there, as we spoke earlier in the broadcast about the Heritage Barbarians' ability to counter-attack from anywhere. Luke Holmes is stirring that up the middle of the field there. It's a nice cross from Caleb Williamson, the goal scorer from moments ago, very nearly finding Charles Clear on the far post. The Māoris dodge one there. And they're coming forward here through Quinton Smith, who's got Ronnie Harris if he can find him. Ronnie will win the free hit. He's got Hale Pritchard and Tim Greenwood in the circle, as well as Drury Hedawini at the top.
We've seen the ball playing at both ends now pretty quickly, isn't it? It's going from top to bottom again, so we'll see what impact that has, whether it results in goals or both teams manage to sort of scramble it out.
Yeah, it's starting to open up here, isn't it, Tama? And both teams really pushing forward, and that led by the Barbarians, obviously needing to push. They're going to try and push this game and stretch it out as much as they can. Like I said, they've got the ability to go forward quickly when they get it. The Māoris, though, can't fall into that trap. They've just got to keep the quality that they had in that second quarter, as Hale Pritchard just eyes up the defensive efforts here by the Barbarians. He just rolled it forward onto his foot there, unfortunately, has Hale Pritchard, and Dylan Muggleston will roll the ball into Luke Holmes, who on the second effort gets its way out to Bailey Collier, but Steve Atkinson does well there to link back up with Tymon Iverson. And Tymon has got Hale Pritchard going forward. Hale Pritchard unfortunately has the baseline.
Yeah, Steve Nixon had a good couple of minutes there just on the build-up play, did a good little overlap sort of positioning play there just to get ahead of the play and put some pressure on that Barbarians defence, and gets back there and does some work defensively as well and got a couple of good touches in there.
Māoris have gone right back up to full press here on that outlet option by the Barbarians, and Atkinson finds Tim Greenwood. Unfortunately, they're unable to bring it under control on the right side of the field because he was in some space, and we know the pace of Tim Greenwood. Platt just plays it back to Tom Sharp. He's got Collier here looking for Holmes. Holmes with the tidy touch forward there to Tian Byes, and the Heritage Barbarians starting to press forward here, Tama, with 3 minutes to go. It's starting to get loud and it's starting to get a little bit chippy, which is exactly what we expected here with final spot on the line. And Geordie Thomas has got strikers in front of him if he can find them. He doesn't need them. Geordie goes himself.
Good patience in defence there, though.
Yeah, they've got away with one. They've gone away well there, the Barbarians. Good pressure there by Vance Harvey and good physicality by Tymon Iverson, will find a free hit for the Māoris. Coming into 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter between the New Zealand Māoris and the Heritage Barbarians. It was a flurry goal by the Barbarians that has just mixed things up a little bit here in this quarter. 3-1 to the Māoris. Māoris starting incredibly fast in this third quarter, but it is the Barbarians who had an answer. And that's Callum Dempster probably pretty happy just to give away the free hit there and slow things down, because this Barbarian side can get going quickly. Bailey Collier just rolls the ball back to Toby Platt, and he's got Tom Shah on the transfer. Māori's just happy to sit out into a half court here and condense the field. They know that there's only 90 seconds to go on the clock in this third quarter, and certainly won't want to do anything to compromise the 2-goal advantage they currently have.
I see the Barbarians really stretching the field here. They've got players sitting on the baseline and nice and wide and high, so we can see them looking to sort of build something for this last minute here.
Yeah, Tama, for viewing's sake, I'd love to see the Barbarians either get a goal here or one early in the quarter, but it's Dylan Thomas with an opportunity perhaps for the Māoris. He's very clinical in this area of the field, but so is Ruan Bezadenhout, and that's very brave goalkeeping to get out that far. But he's done exactly what he needed to do. And as I was mentioning there, I'd love for the viewing sake for the Barbarians to score one. Like I said, either now or very early in the fourth quarter, just to spice things up. But Juri Hedowini with an opportunity for the Māoris. And he's spun there and unfortunately just missed wide of the goal. And this is what we said we were going to find. If the Heritage Barbarians were going to push the way they are, it's going to open up at both ends, and it's whoever can take their opportunities. 2 miss there for the Māoris.
Yeah, with the Barbarians spreading the game there, it's a good setup, but if you do turn on the ball, you see what we saw there, and it gives the opposition obviously the opportunity to get in those circles relatively quickly and easily with some free space.
That's it, and as you hear the hooter there for third quarter time, it is the Māoris in control of the match. 3-1 over the Heritage Barbarians, and it was a end-to-end quarter there. Tama, the Māoris came out incredibly quick and fired up by the talks there of Tracy and Boss Edmonds, scoring very early in the quarter and looking dominant early, but it was a breakout and counter-attack goal by the Heritage Barbarians that has brought some interest back into this game at 3-1. With 17 minutes of hockey and a spot in tomorrow's final still very much on the line for both teams if they can do it. And this was the start goal here. We'll see Tim Greenwood with a cracking reverse stick finish just inside the paintwork of the far post for the Māoris. And that put them ahead 3-0. But the Heritage Barbarians weathered the storm. They didn't give up. And there was some good work here by the Māoris early. Like I said, we thought they could have even got to 4 off the set piece here, which just didn't quite go to plan. But later in that quarter, the Heritage Barbarians struck gold of their own. After a couple of scrappy little efforts like this one we see in the vision here by the Barbarians, I thought the Māoris did really well for good periods of that defence through the likes of Te Herika Chase and Tufari Hapi and Steve Atkinson. And despite having a few number overloads and earning their fair share of penalty corners, the Māoris just unable to extend that lead any further than 3. And as the teams are preparing for the final quarter here, Tama, what do you want to see from this Heritage Barbarians group if they're to get back closer and perhaps even level on the scoreboard with the Māoris?
Yeah, obviously from a spectators or viewing point of view, we certainly want to see maybe another goal or 2 from the Heritage Barbarians just to really make a contest of the game. They've certainly got the ability and they've had some chances, so again, hopefully if they can get an early conversion somewhere in this quarter there, just create a little bit of pressure on the New Zealand Māori team just around execution and those things, and just wait for maybe the pressure to create some mistakes and then maybe feed off that. Yeah, it'll be really interesting, and again, how this game goes on, if we take keepers off, and what sort of what the coaches decide to do here as well. So this last quarter, I think we're in for a thriller. Yeah,
the Māoris with the first little forage going forward there through Dylan Thomas, not too much avail there. So Tom Shah for the Barbarians will bring the ball back out from a 16-yard hit, and he's unable to get any further than the midfield. And this is Dylan Thomas. He's got Geordie Thomas. Tama, we talked about execution, and it was the Māoris who executed so well in the first 2 quarters, just letting themselves down with a couple of finishing options there. They had 2 right before the quarter break and a third there that probably could have sealed this game.
Yeah, those ones are probably a little bit more than just chances. You'd like to see those ones put away for the most part. So, yeah, certainly if they get another one of those, I'm sure Coach Diamond will be pretty intent on making sure that one goes in the back of the goal.
Yeah, like you say, there's a difference between the one-on-one chances that you hope they convert versus those ones there that, probably should be written on the scoreboard before making that mistake. But pleasing that they're getting to the right area of the field. The turnover is happening in the midfield for the Māoris, which means their pressing shape is good. But if they're in a final match tomorrow, those opportunities dry up pretty quickly, and they're going to have to convert them every time they get them, especially ones like that. You just see Tufari Tuahapi trying to line up Juri Hedawini there. He likes to open his wrists on a sweep hit, does Tufari Tuahapi. This is Luke Holmes coming forward on the ball for the Barbarians. Good defensive work there by Juri Hedawini. This is Hedawini Iverson. And Holmes again on the ball for the Barbarians.
There's a bit of room here.
Yeah, that's
holding off.
Liam Adams there, just rolling the ball in for the Barbarians. That stop had to be made as Juri Hedawini and Dylan Thomas were trying to creep forward for the Māoris. As we do take note, Harley Cooper has gone back into the goal for the Māori team. As things just tighten up a little bit, they'll want his experience, communication and leadership back there to steady the ship. Certainly no slight on Shannon Hohepa, but Harley Cooper's been in these games many times before and will give them the best foot forward to sealing this one off. Like I said, they won't want to make the same mistakes as yesterday against the Indians. So this is Steve Atkinson on the ball here for the Māoris. He's got Tufari Tuahapi as captain, and Callum Dempster, who's played well all weekend in the midfield, just giving his defenders options to roll the ball in. He's got Terika Chase going forward up the left-hand side of the field on his favoured reverse stick. Tom Shah will just see that one go over the back line.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got a bit of a niggle there at the end of the third quarter there. He looked just like a few things were just annoying him a little bit, just around the body or something. So I wonder if something happened early in the third quarter there. Yeah,
fortunately for him, it was Juri Hedawini chasing from the Māori side, and not a couple of the other strikers who may have troubled that baseline. And this nice skill there by Tufari Tuahapi just to turn on the inside of the striker and link up with Steve Atkinson. And solid repositioning by the defenders there, and Terika Chase. He's got the go forward from Callum Dempster, who's overlapped on the left-hand side as the midfield. Steve Atkinson on the reverse, and that's one that's not as pretty as Tim Greenwood's from earlier in the game.
Yeah, good build though, wasn't it? Just good, definitive, crisp passing. So got them on the advantage, and they maintained it with a good shot away, or a shot away.
Yeah, it's good midfield play where you can see they've both recycled and ended up on the left-hand side of the field, both Callum and Steve Atkinson, without lacking anything in the middle, and they get the ball through. Geordie Thomas will be gutted. Callum Dempster had gone streaming forward up the middle, wanting the ball back there, and it's just little execution things. Like I said, it is late on day 3. It's been a big physical effort from this Māori team in both yesterday's game and today's game to gain the ascendancy that they have, so we can't excuse the odd mistake, but they'll want to tidy things up as this game continues. And this is Te Manunui McPherson trying to take on James Hickson. Heritage Barbarians with sideline ball through McPherson, and he'll step off it and bring his defender up onto the ball. It's fantastic work there by Juri Hedawini coming and being involved back in behind the ball. Not the pass he would have wanted there, but encouraging to see even in the fourth quarter that your strikers are getting back working in defence. Also there is Hale Pritchard on ball pressure. It's a nice little pass, 1-2 there by Tian Byes, who gets it back and it has hit his foot, so the Māoris will get the relieving free hit here. Through Steve Atkinson, who's just rolled out to the back to shore things up a little bit for the Māoris. He'll work in tandem with Tufari Tuahapi at the back. You can see there Will Lacey from the Heritage Barbarians just trying to put a little bit of extra pressure on, running a bit of a split press between the two middle defenders there of the Māoris. Atkinson opts to go over. He's got Hale Pritchard. And it's the overlap of Terika Chase. Back to Pritchard. Very nearly just bats one through the stick of Dylan Muggleston there. It's good defensive pressure, but Hale Pritchard, who has scored in similar fashion this weekend. It was Terika Chase on the overlap off the receive from Hale Pritchard that created that numbers overlap there for the Māoris. This is Luke Holmes coming forward. He's got Tian Byes, Charles Cleal there. Just a little wayward pass there. Will be picked up by Hale Pritchard. He's done well to wear off the challenge of Will Lacey. And Caleb Williamson nearly comes away with it for the Heritage Barbarians. Instead it will be the Māoris walking the ball up with Hemi Hickson.
We've just seen a couple more aerial sort of passes now by the New Zealand Māori team, so I wonder if that's something that we've seen some space that they're looking to exploit.
Yeah, as we see, again, I've been impressed by the positioning of Kiharoa Iverson going forward for the Māori team. He found himself on the T-bar there and just tried to work into Hale Pritchard. Māori sitting in really good spots there, understanding where the ball was likely to fall from the overhead of Toby Platt. It's Luke Holmes just steadying things away for the Barbarians, but no further than Kiharoa Iverson. This is Callum Hedewini Iverson, apologies, coming forward at speed. And his brother, first one there to congratulate him. That's good turn of pace there. We've seen that a couple of times as we see the replay here. This is Kiharoa to his brother Hedewini, and we just see he gets that flip on the outside, and like he did I think in the second quarter, speed to absolutely burn there for Hedewini Iverson, and calls his own number, likes the penalty corner, sets up the Māoris for first attack here in this fourth quarter from the set piece. And he's regained his spot at the top of the totem pole, has Tufari Toahapi. He's not turning around walking back this time. Harley's asking for some mates back there, but it won't be Tufari Toa, he's up. Good save there by Bazaidenhout. Gets his whole body across in front of the shot there of Hapi. But the Māoris still on attack. This is Callum Dempster. The Māoris just got a little tangled up in their own shapes there. But
early option here, straight ahead.
Will Lacey. Charles Cleal just pulled out of that lead. Didn't he tell me he started to go, and Will Lacey I think eyed it up, but wanting to hold the inside of the field. Pass went awry there. Sometimes if you make that lead and you're signaling with the eyes, you just have to go, and you might receive it in a worse spot than you may have. But
tough on the ball carrier. They've sort of seen the lead and think it's going to go all the way, and then you sort of commit to the option. That that's a game. It happens.
And Ronnie Harris getting back in defensive work for the Māoris, just run off the shoulder there by Jonathan Mounlath.
We just see the sun starting to sort of play its part a little bit too. It's just starting to get in the eyes of the Barbarians defenders as well. So I wonder if that's part of why the aerial ball's been into play a little bit more now.
Yeah, the Māoris, like we said in yesterday's broadcast, they learnt from their having to look into it on the first day, and they've know that it continues to set further this afternoon. So pick the good side to be on. You certainly want to be going that way instead of looking up the sun in the second half here, as things just get a little scrappy in the midfield. Hedewini Iverson does well to work back and just consolidate possession for the Māoris. He'll want a 100% pass here, which he finds through Steve Atkinson. He's got we had the similar thing happen there. Hale looked at him and I think looked out the shoulder, took the first step, and Steve threw it, but you got to follow through that lead.
Yeah, I think that was definitely on. That was the space, so hopefully next time learns and carries the lead.
Good block work there by Callum Dempster, but they get it through to Muggleston the second time, and he's got Tian Byes across the field here. Back into Muggleston. Muggleston with his eyes up. Finds Holmes. Holmes with the ball on his stick. And great defensive work there by Steve Atkinson. Again, we talk about reverse stick defenders getting in nice and close to the shot, making sure that they can seal off the ball there and keep their body out of danger. There's Holmes again. And it's Atkinson for a second time on Holmes, but the Barbarians come through with it here. Deemed to not have done it legally, so relieving free hit here for Atkinson, who just steps onto the ball. We're under 7 minutes to go in this quarter, and the advantage still 2 goals with a 3-1 lead to the Māoris. This is Geordie Thomas on the ball for the Māoris. happy to keep possession with his team. Hedewini Iverson works his way forward. He's been good. Iverson, Geordie Thomas if he can win the sprint race, but gosh, that's Dylan Muggleston again doing.
He's everywhere at the moment, isn't he? He's just he's obviously this is the player that you want really in and around the ball, making the decisions, and he's doing that for the Barbarians team at the moment. So hopefully he can keep it going for the next, like you say, next 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. They really rely on him to go forward, don't they? And he does a lot of work for this Barbarian side. Obviously clinical on the penalty corner when he gets the opportunity, but his gameplay is fantastic as well, as he just misses the break here. And this is Tim Greenwood. He's got a 3-on-1 with Geordie Thomas on the right and Callum Dempster, the midfielder.
Yeah, poor old Thomas, like I said, he looked like he had a bit of a niggle there, and it maybe showed up as he got coned around a little bit there.
Yeah, Tom Shah there, he's going to want to stay as close to the middle of the field as he can. That's he's pulling up there big time, whether it's cramp or it is a niggle. That is Thomas Shah. They're just doing enough to get a stick in the way. Yeah, he's battling big time. Unfortunately, the middle defender, who's played I think every minute for this Heritage Barbarian side in 3 games now. But a good break attack there by Tim Greenwood. He's really grown since scoring that goal for the Māoris. And this is Callum Dempster working Tim Greenwood nice and low there, but Tian Byers does enough. And here come the Barbarians.
Yeah, still
Luke
a number
Holmes.
updates for the New Zealand Māori. They should
He can get around Steve Atkinson. Steve Atkinson does really well just to keep the stick in the eye pressure. But he's linked up with McPherson. McPherson's found Muggleston in the circle. And they do enough here, the Māoris. You hear Hapi and Kopa there demanding players getting into the right areas of the field, getting their defence back and set up. You can see strikers behind the ball, which is pleasing. This is Shah. He looks to change the point of attack. Geordie Thomas has got to get over there to do some defensive work. It's Timon Iverson who does a fantastic job in earning the free hit advantage, and Steve Atkinson opting just to bat to the other end of the field, but it is Shah here who will stop it from going the distance. You can see just off shot here, Tama, the Barbarians really pushing players up on that back line. They have to at the moment. With just under 4 minutes to go, for them to advance to tomorrow's final, they're going to need to score 3 times in the next 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, this is the clock though, isn't it? The clock's probably a little bit getting against them. I know we talked about some the ability for all teams to have some quick goals, but they will have to look to create something pretty soon. Yeah,
it's a nice little turn inside there by Quinton Smith for the Māoris, and he's got Hemi Hickson coming forward on the ball for the Māoris. If he can turn inside, it's Muggleston he's got to go past, though, who has been phenomenal in his work again. There is Dylan Muggleston. And well worked out there by the Barbarians, but only as far as Quinton Smith and Callum Dempster for the Māoris, and Vance Harvey on the left side of the field here. Finds the foot of Tian Byers. Timon Iverson takes it quickly, and it's Vance Harvey again. Unfortunate there by Dylan Muggleston. There's only so much one man can do. He's tried to do everything he can there. But
he's been at both ends. You know, he's put in a massive amount of work. You know, he's got a big ticket, that's for sure. So you can't question that. Yeah,
as we see the replay here, it's just this force ball in here that just lifted up off the stick. He's done fantastically well to get his stick to it, but it has come up into the body of the Māoris player there. And the Māoris here will take as long as they can to set this penalty corner. They'll want the big breaths in. It just did get stretched out for a little period there.
Yeah, we'll have to see a bit of game management now from those teams, especially in the scenario where the Māoris are up by a couple of goals and a couple of minutes to go. They just need to make sure they make some smart calls.
Yeah, Happy here on the first bracket and Atkinson on the second. Goes to absolutely nobody, and they're in trouble here if the Barbarians can move the ball.
Oh, good touch.
That's absolutely phenomenal work there by young Hemi Hickson, who saved a fair bit of bacon as his skipper Tufari Tuahapi was streaming back down the middle of the field. I don't know if he's going to have another full field effort in him.
He's sitting back there and holding his ground. So.
Yeah. Barbarians with the option to go forward. It's probably not going to come for them here as we come into the final 90 seconds. Yeah, it's certainly not the penalty corner the Māoris would have wanted. Very nearly set away the Barbarians, and they will earn a free hit in the middle of the field here through Luke Holmes. It will be Regan Jurjevic to take it. And the Barbarians again.
Who's the man on the
guess
ball?
who?
Yeah.
Dylan Muggleston again. He's playing hockey, he's doing pirouettes, he's doing everything on his way through there, and still unable to get the call he wanted, but they still have the ball, and it is Tom Shah at the back there. Touch through there by Will Lacey, doesn't get any further than the edge of the circle for the Māoris. As we close in on the final 45 seconds here of the game, it will be position to the Māoris, and Quinton Smith will take this one slowly.
Yep, good decision there. Just let it back, move off the ball.
Yep.
Set up again.
Instead he'll call Steve Atkinson onto the ball, who has the overhead release, and Geordie Thomas has Jury Hedawini in the middle of the field. Going to be one last heroics. Instead it's Ruan Bezadenhout who's been strong in the goal.
He saw that from a way out, that one.
Dylan Muggleston trying to go up Route 1. And this will probably call it here for the Māoris. Taiman Iverson just wearing out a bit of physical contact.
Yeah, Dylan was hunting for a goal.
And that will pull curtains on the on-field action between the New Zealand Māoris and the Heritage Barbarians here. It is the first men's game of the day, day 3, as we prepare for tomorrow's matches. It is the New Zealand Māoris taking away the victory 3-1 with goals to Tim Greenwood, Kiharoa Iverson and Tuwharetoa Hapi. Tama, they were just too clinical for too long there in this game.
Yeah. I just want to quickly take a moment just to quickly thank the officials. I think they actually managed their game pretty well. Like you say, there's a lot riding on this game, so there's a bit of pressure around it, and those games can sometimes escalate it and lose a bit of structure and sort of composure. And I think the officials did pretty well there just to manage that, and it ended up being quite a good spectacle, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Those sort of games can go one of two ways. It's either very high quality like we just saw, or things can get too scrappy if it's allowed to go that way. And you're right, the game was an absolute spectacle and exactly what we would have wanted from a game with so much riding on it. And it is the Māori men who will book themselves a spot in tomorrow's gold medal match. As we see some of the highlights here from that last quarter, it was a very early opportunity here for the two Thomases, and it just goes behind Geordie. Dylan to Geordie, unable to put that one away early in the quarter. And the Barbarians had showed improved attack here and had their opportunities coming forward. Quite often it was, though, some scramble defence here by the Māoris, just doing enough to not force another save there by goalkeeper Harley Cooper. But this little overlap here by Callum Dempster and Steve Atkinson very nearly resulted in something. Steve will be gutted in that execution on the final shot, but what they've created here in Callum Dempster and Dylan Thomas, I thought, have played very, very well together all game. That midfield was the key to the success for the Māori team. Both teams with big games tomorrow, obviously the final for the Māoris, but the Heritage Barbarians will also have a medal to play for in third place, and this was Hale Pritchard very nearly putting a final one at the goal for the Māoris, and it was a big effort by them. They've improved every game, the Māori team, and they'll be pleased to have taken full points out of that match and making sure that they work their way to the final. I was particularly impressed by Kiharoa Iverson and his ability to find space moving forward for the Māori team, be it through his leading off the ball or his spacing in front of the goal. He was fantastic today, Kiharoa, and earned himself the first goal for the Māoris. And of course, that Dylan Muggleston, he continued to work as hard as he could, but plays like this unfortunately couldn't be sealed away. Ruan Bezadenhout was fantastic in goal. I am joined in commentary now by Harley Cooper from the New Zealand Māori team. Harley, you guys found yourselves in familiar position, being 2-0 up at half time. We saw video footage there of Tracy Edmonds, in fact, at half-time break, really spurring you guys towards probably a better outcome than yesterday's finish. What happened better in that second half that took you guys all the way?
Well, in all fairness, the talk at half-time was, guys, the game's not over, they're going to come back. They've got some good players. Rowan's keeping them in the game every game. So we've just got to make sure that when we do hold the possession, we actually value it. Probably towards the end there, we were throwing it away a little bit too liberally. So we just wanted to make sure that in the second half, we were actually maintained position, but also maintained the want of our position. So in other words, when we were moving up the pitch, we were actually making sure that we actually held it and not just throw it away frivolously into the corners.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the work between Callum Dempster, Steve Atkinson and Dylan Thomas in the midfield today. They linked up really well, and specifically Callum and Steve, which set up the third goal there early in the third quarter. Just their ability to control the middle of the field, I think, really allowed your strikers to play with good height. Kihiro Iverson found good spaces in the attacking circle. Hedewini Iverson plays the ball at pace, and it just constructed a lot more quality attack for you guys today.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, those boys are actually linking really well, and as you heard earlier when I was walking in here, you guys were talking about every game it's progressively getting better, and for us, I think that's what we want to do is we set a level on the first day, and then we just want to keep picking ourselves up game after game. Hopefully tomorrow we say the best game for tomorrow. That's going to be a great one for us, but yeah, we were able to get on our second keeper, Tim. He was able to get his first cap. But I was a bit nervous because the boys started being really quiet by the end there, so I was a bit nervous for him. So, but no, he handled himself well. Bit of a shock for the first one, but he made a couple of little saves at the end there, which was really, really good. And so, the future's bright. I can retire soon.
Yeah, we actually made mention of that, that it was quieter there for a period without you, Harley, and we certainly noticed you when you came back on the field. Your experience in late game situations like that, I think, certainly needed by the team there to make sure you guys got over the line. It was an important game today, everything on the line, and you guys have done well to book yourselves a spot in tomorrow's final. So it will be a big one. Not quite able to get there last year to the big dance, so you'll be wanting to have a big one tomorrow. The boys will be preparing tonight, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation about improvements again. The team has done very well every game to improve and continue improving, but we wish you all the very best for tomorrow's game. We hope to see a ferocious haka to start the game. And
haka tomorrow. We're definitely doing haka.
Fantastic.
I have to be quite full on just for my girls at home, so Nikki, Eva and Zoe, thank you. Daddy's going to be home very soon, and I love you, Mum. So I had to make sure I had to say those ones.
Fantastic.
So thank
fantastic.
You guys. Thank you.
It's the home support there. Thanks, Harley.
Cheers.
So the Maori team will book themselves into tomorrow's final. Against who, we won't know until the end of this next match here between Pacifica and the Indians. But it was a victory for the Maori men, 3-1 over the Heritage Barbarians. That has sealed their place in tomorrow's final. And joining me in the commentary booth from the Heritage Barbarians side is a guy who has played, I think, very close to every minute for the team over the first 3 days of action. He's captained the side at different points between him and goalkeeper Ruan Bezadenhout. They've held the middle of the field very well for the Heritage Barbarians, and through no easy efforts at some point. There's been a lot of defending to do there, mate. You've played fantastically well. A tough game out there against the Māoris. Saw you pull up a little limp there near the end, and we'll call it cramp. Like I said, you've played a lot of minutes this weekend, but you'll be impressed with the way you guys continued to fight right through to the end.
Yeah, mate, just absolutely stoked with the boys. It's hard to come into a tournament like this and gel instantly, but I think the lads have come out firing. Went a bit head over biscuit towards the end there and pulled up a bit tight, but hey, that's footy, eh?
That is, and we've noticed this team. First game, Matt Rees-Gibbs is with you at the back. Second game, you have Vinny O'Connor, and third game, the thing that has stuck there is you, and you've been solid there all week. It's a tough job playing in the middle at the back, but when you've got somebody like Ruan Bezadenhout behind you, he does a lot of communicating. He's a good, solid goalkeeper. How is he influencing this team and their ability to defend well?
Oh, mate, he's magical. Just that communication, especially like you say, we've got boys floating in and out, and he's just, helps big time. Hard job back there, but he makes it a lot easier. So, he's played outstanding this tournament. So.
Yeah, and the other one to mention for you guys, of course, is Dylan Muggleston, who relatively unknown for a lot of us coming into today's tournament, but he's a name that will stick for a long time. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Opened the first game getting on the score sheet a few times, and we thought perhaps it was just his penalty corner prowess, but as the tournament's gone on, he's absolutely phenomenal. Plays both ends of the field very well on both sides of the ball, and he's a real special talent for your side.
Yeah, he's amazing, mate. Token ginger as well, so it's always good to have one of them. But he's pretty special, He's a talented character. He's got a bit of zip through the midfield, and keeps running his heart out. I think he's almost played every minute of the game, every game that he's been here as well. So there's a few lads putting in some big shifts, but it's all good. Still build for tomorrow, and try to finish on a high.
Yeah, and it'll be a big one for you guys tomorrow. Obviously, you want to take away the bronze medal in tomorrow's game. Who are you going to play? We won't know till the end of this match between the Pacifica men and the Indian men, which could go either way still. But we wish you all the very best for tomorrow. I hope the body pulls up as well as possible.
Mate, I'll get into the ice baths, and it'd be good to have another crack at one of the teams tomorrow. So look forward to it.
Awesome. Cheers, Tommy. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
And that is final scenes of action here between the New Zealand Maori men and the Heritage Barbarians. The Maori men pulling away for a 3-1 victory by the end of that match and booking themselves a position in tomorrow's gold medal match. Coming up at 4 o'clock will be the game between the New Zealand Pacifica men and the New Zealand Indians, again with everything to play for. With that win to the Māoris, an outright win to the Indians in the next game could rule the Pacifica men out of tomorrow's gold medal match after being so impressive already this weekend. But join us at 4 o'clock for that one, live here thanks to Local Gecko Productions on the Sky Sport Next YouTube, New Zealand Heritage Hockey Facebook page and the FIH app. Thank you.